You're listening to the Financial Source podcast on YouTube.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Financial Source podcast.
We're in episode 7 of about a 100-part series designed to walk through macro fundamentals from the ground up.
Yeah, so if you're relatively new to economics or maybe trading or policy, this series is definitely built for you.
And this deep dive is called the 3-step analysis process.
We're tackling something I think everyone bumps into, maybe one of the most frustrating moments in finance.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Like when the market does the exact opposite of what seems logical. You know, a central bank raises rates, seems hawkish, and boom, the currency just collapses.
Or you get a terrible jobs report, really bad numbers, and stocks just take off higher. It feels completely backwards.
Exactly. Or an oil deal gets signed, seems bullish, but prices fall. If that feeling of being blindsided, like what just happened, sounds familiar.
And then you know the gap between just reading the news and understanding what the market expected from that news?
And look, in today's world, with central banks talking constantly, reading those signals versus expectations is really the only way to avoid feeling, well, completely lost during big data releases.
Spot on. So our goal today is simple. Help you stop just reacting to headlines.
And start anticipating the market's response instead.
Giving you a straightforward, repeatable framework you can use for pretty much any major event.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Right. Let's start exactly there. That gut punch moment you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely remember early in my career just being completely wrong-footed. I'd see the headline say, the oil deal example. And I think, okay, price is up. But they fell because I was just focused on the event, the signing.
You forgot that maybe everyone already knew that deal was coming. It was baked in.
It was already priced in.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's the huge mindset shift, isn't it?
It really is. The market runs on the difference, the delta between what actually happens and what was collectively anticipated.
So the goal isn't like fortune-telling the exact GDP number or the rate decision.
No, not at all. The goal is to anticipate the reaction to that number based on what the market has already factored in. If the good news was expected for weeks, well, it's old news, price-wise.
That distinction changes everything about how you approach risk events. It shifts you from being reactive to being prepared.
And that preparation needs some kind of structure, which brings us nicely to this 3-step analysis process.
It's a simple framework, but really powerful once you internalize it.
Okay, so step 1. The absolute foundation, identifying the baseline.
And the baseline, what exactly is that? Like the market's mood?
Kind of. It's the market's anchor. It's that collective weighted assumption that traders, investors, big institutions have already built into current prices, whether it's Eurodollar or oil or the S&P 500. It's what they, as a whole, think is the most likely outcome.
And why is knowing that baseline so critical?
Well, think about it. If you don't know what's expected, how can you possibly recognize a surprise when it lands?
Okay, you're flying blind.
Completely. Markets move on the difference, remember. The gap between actual and expected. If inflation drops, say, exactly as predicted.
The market shrugs.
Pretty much. Minimal movement, usually. But if it only drops half as much as expected, even though it still fell, that's a huge shock relative to the baseline. That's when you see big moves.
Okay, that makes sense. But how do we pin down this collective assumption? It sounds a bit fuzzy. How do you find it practically?
It's a mix of things. You look at objective data points first. Consensus forecasts are useful, the ones big banks publish.
Right, the Bloomberg surveys and things like that.
Exactly. They pull together lots of analyst views. But maybe even more crucial for, say, central bank decisions are specialized tools. Things like interest rate probability trackers.
Like the CME FedWatch tool. That's the classic one for the Fed.
That's the one. It essentially shows you the odds the market is pricing in for different actions, like a rate hike or a pause.
Okay, walk me through that. If that tool shows, say, a 75% probability of a 25 basis point hike next meeting, what does that tell me right now about the price of, say, the dollar?
It tells you that roughly 75% of the impact of that potential 25 basis point hike is already reflected in the current exchange rate and bond yields.
So about 18 basis points worth is already priced.
Roughly, yeah. The market isn't sitting around waiting for the announcement. It's already discounted most of that expected outcome.
Which explains why sometimes the actual announcement feels like a non-event. The move already happened.
Precisely. If the Fed delivers exactly that 25-point hike, the immediate move might be small. It's just pricing in that last 25% of uncertainty, or maybe reacting to the tone of the statement that comes with it.
Okay, and conversely, What if that tracker shows things are really split, like 50-50 on a hike versus a pause?
Now that is interesting. A 50-50 split often means a big opportunity is brewing.
Why? Because someone's guaranteed to be wrong.
Exactly. Half the market positioning is going to be instantly invalidated, whichever way the decision goes. That typically fuels a lot more volatility.
Right, okay. So, step one, nail down that baseline using forecasts, market pricing, trackers. Know the anchor.
Correct. And once you have that baseline firmly established, you know, where the market expects things to land, then you move to step two, spotting the surprise.
Okay, so we have the anchor. Now we're looking for what could rip the anchor loose.
Sort of. You're identifying potential escape velocity, as you put it earlier. You're not trying to predict the future with a crystal ball.
No psychic powers needed.
No. It's more about building realistic scenarios. The core question you ask yourself is, given this baseline, what outcome would genuinely shock the majority of market participants?
So back to the Fed example. If the baseline is that 75% chance of a 25-point hike.
Right. The most obvious surprise would be if they don't hike. A pause. That would immediately contradict the baseline expectation.
Or maybe an even bigger hike, like 50 basis points.
That too. That would also be a significant surprise, just in the other direction. But the surprise doesn't always have to be the action itself. It can be much subtler. It can be in the language.
Like the statement or the press conference afterwards.
Exactly. We talked about analyzing speeches for the baseline. Well, you do the same for surprises. If the baseline assumption is that the Fed chair will sound kind of neutral, maybe data dependent, then a surprise might be a sudden, sharp shift in tone. Maybe they start talking about rates needing to be higher for longer, or they drop phrases like immaculate disinflation that they were using before.
So that verbal pivot, even without a change in rates today, can be the real surprise that moves markets.
Absolutely. That's often where the real edge, the trading advantage lies. Markets react very strongly, sometimes exponentially, to things they didn't see coming.
Okay, that makes sense. But this step feels like it needs discipline.
Huge discipline. Intellectual honesty. You must focus on probable surprises.
Right. It's tempting to imagine, some crazy black swan event. Like, what if the Fed suddenly cuts rates by 100 basis points tomorrow out of the blue?
Exactly. Building your entire plan around something that has an incredibly low probability, some theoretical shock, it's just not productive trading. It's closer to gambling.
So stay grounded in what's actually plausible, given the current context and the central bank's recent behavior.
Precisely. Look, if a central bank has been hiking rates steadily for 18 months, warning about inflation, then a sudden pause when a hike was expected, that's a probable surprise.
Okay.
But a complete instantaneous U-turn to aggressive rate cuts, highly improbable in that context. Your scenario planning should focus only on those surprises that genuinely contradict the established baseline, but are still within the realm of realistic possibility.
Got it. Baseline established, probable surprises identified.
Yeah.
That takes us to the final piece, step 3.
Which is understanding the bigger picture impact.
This feels like the conviction step.
Okay.
The surprise happened, now what?
Now the critical question becomes, does this surprise actually change the fundamental underlying story? Does it alter the broader macro narrative?
Okay, so you're trying to figure out if this is just a blip or something more fundamental.
Exactly. We need to distinguish between what's just market noise versus what constitutes a genuine seismic shift.
Let's break that down, because that distinction sounds crucial for how you'd actually trade it. Noise versus seismic.
Right. So noise is a surprise that, it pushes prices around for maybe a few hours, maybe a day.
Like a slightly weird manufacturing number that causes a dip in the S&P, but then it recovers.
Perfect example. It creates some chop, some volatility, but it fades relatively quickly. And the bigger pre-existing trend tends to resume. If you trade that, it's usually a tactical thing, a quick scalp in and out.
Okay. And a seismic shift.
That's totally different. A seismic shift is a surprise that is so significant, it fundamentally realigns market expectations across the board. It shifts the core sentiment. It can send assets onto a completely new, potentially long-lasting trajectory.
Give me an example of seismic.
Think about, say, a non-farm payrolls report. If it doesn't just miss expectations, but misses them so dramatically.
Like prints negative when growth was expected.
Yeah, or shows massive downward revisions to prior months. Something that suddenly makes the narrative shift from soft landing to, recession looks unavoidable now. That kind of surprise can be seismic. It changes everything.
And that's where you might find high conviction opportunities. Like a swing trade you hold for longer.
Potentially, yes.
Oh.
Especially if that seismic surprise confirms or strengthens a fundamental view you already held.
Ah, okay. So let's say you were already positioned, maybe long Eurodollar, because you fundamentally believed the ECB was going to be more hawkish than the Fed going forward.
Right.
And then the surprise is, say, an unexpectedly strong Eurozone GDP print, way above the baseline forecast.
That kind of data point could absolutely fuel your existing bias. It fits your narrative. It feels seismic for your thesis. That's when you might consider adding conviction, maybe increasing position size, or holding for a longer-term move.
Okay, but hang on. How do you guard against just seeing what you want to see? Confirmation bias is a killer, right?
It absolutely is. That's probably the trickiest part of step 3.
So if I was already long Eurodollar and I see that strong GDP, how do I know I'm not just calling it seismic because it helps my trade?
The key countercheck is to step back and ask, objectively, does this news seem likely to change the market's broader long-term discounting mechanism, even if I personally wasn't involved?
Meaning,
Are you seeing analysts immediately revising their forecasts? Are major banks changing their official projections for, say, the ECB's terminal rate or the Fed's? Are you seeing shifts in global risk allocation models?
so look for external validation that the regime might actually be shifting, not just my P&L looking better.
Exactly. If the surprise causes that kind of broader reassessment, then it's likely more than just noise. But if your Eurodollar trade just got a nice pop from the GDP number, but by the end of the day, it's faded back down.
Then it's probably just noise.
Probably just noise. And in that case, even if it fit your long-term view, discipline dictates you should have treated it tactically. Take the quick profit, get out. Don't let noise trick you into overstaying.
So noise requires being nimble, maybe taking quick profits. A seismic shift allows for more patience, more conviction, maybe bigger size.
That's the core idea. If the surprise doesn't fundamentally alter your view of the bigger picture, you treat it purely tactically regardless of the initial price move.
Okay, let's tie this all together. Because thinking about it, this three-step process seems to directly address the biggest mistakes people make, especially maybe retail traders.
How so?
Well, they jump in reacting to the headline news, right? But they never identified the baseline, so they don't even know if it was a surprise.
Right. They trade the number without context?
Then they maybe chase the price move, up or down,
Right.
without understanding what the actual surprise was. It was the number, the tone, something else.
Chasing momentum without understanding the driver. Very common.
And finally, they size their trade based on excitement or fear, maybe going too big on noise or too small on a real shift, because they haven't asked if it's just a temporary wobble or a genuine change in the story.
Yeah, that lack of framework leads to emotional decisions. This 3-step process is designed to be almost like a pre-flight checklist.
A preventative strategy.
Exactly. It gives you immediate structure, immediate clarity the second a potentially volatile event happens. It helps short-circuit that purely emotional reactive trading that tends to drain accounts over time.
So we really want to encourage you, the listener, to start applying these 3 core questions. Try it mentally for every major economic release or central bank meeting you follow, even if you're not trading it.
What are those 3 questions again? Let's recap.
Okay, 1, what is the baseline? What has the market already anticipated and priced in?
2, what specific, probable outcome would genuinely surprise the market relative to that baseline?
And 3, if that surprise happens, does it feel like temporary noise? Or could it be a seismic shift that actually changes the bigger picture narrative?
You know, the real power here isn't about magically winning every single trade. That's impossible.
Right.
It's about removing that awful feeling of being constantly blindsided or confused by market reactions.
Yeah, it's about gaining clarity.
Exactly. Once you start internalizing this process, baseline, surprise, impact, you start just reacting to the noise of the headlines. You start seeing the market through a much clearer, more prepared lens.
And honestly, that shift in perspective changes everything
Yeah.
about how you approach risk and opportunity in the markets.
Appreciate you tuning in for this deep dive on the 3-step analysis process. Hopefully, it gives you a powerful new lens for approaching market volatility.
Thanks for being here.
Great.
We'll catch you in the next one as we continue to build your macro fundamentals knowledge here on the Financial Source podcast.